All right, we bought another graphics card. I think I paid like $26. It's a 1070 Ti Republica Gamer. And the seller said that I guess his son got this from a friend who dropped water down the back, and it's never worked since. So I'm assuming it has water damage. So we are going to attempt to figure out what is up with this thing, if it can be fixed by me specifically. So you know what, before we start the video, let me see if I can't get my multimeter thing to work. Oh well, I can't find it, so we're gonna have to, I'll have to look for it later. First things first, this video card is gigantic, bro. Oh my goodness. All right, so let's check 12 volt PCI Express. We do not have a short. Let's check 3.3 volts. I see some inductors down in here. A 100 and something ohms. We'll check our 12 volts. Is that ground, or is that, I don't know how this power. Okay, that must be the 3.9K. I'm assuming all of the top ones are positive. So that's not shorted. What else can I see from in here? I can't see anything else. I see another coil. I can't get to the other coils. So the only coil I can get to is this one here. And it looks all right, you know. And I know on the back, I think there's some clock lines or data lines or something somewhere. Are they here? Hopefully that's ground. 0.7. That's 0.7. So yeah, hopefully that's okay. So it looks like this thing is safe to plug in. It looks like it's safe to plug in. So let's get set up for that. All right, power supply is on. Let's hard lights up. Fan spin. 2 fans have stopped. And nothing. Absolutely nothing. Let's do it like that. All right, let's try it one more time. Yeah, the fan spin and then everything stops. All right, let's take this bad boy apart. All right, so we got the card a little bit more accessible. So this should be RAM. I got it on diode mode still. Well, that's mega ohms. I don't think that's RAM. It seems like a very high resistance. This should be 0.2. It is. This should be 12 volt. And it's super high. Well, it's point K in climbing, 18K. This little coil here. It's kilo ohms. I wonder if this is RAM. No, that might. I don't. Where's RAM? Yeah, I don't know if this is the PWM control. No, that's probably not the PWM controller. This is probably the PWM controller. This ITE. And this is probably for the RAM. That's the RAM PWM chip. I'm having a hard time figuring out where my RAM. I would assume it would be these inductors that are behind the big. No, it's probably this bigger inductor that's at the top and that's separated. And if that's the case, then it's shorted. And if it's shorted, then that means that this coil here. Let me keep check. That's got to be RAM. Let me get the. I guess what I'm trying to say is this coil is separate from these. So I'm assuming these 6 phases are for my V core. This phase, because it's before these 4 MOSFETs, is for VRAM. And so it's reading, I think we measured earlier. I think we measured like 0.2, which would suck. Which sucks if that is RAM. Yeah, it's reading 0.4. We should be getting, I don't know what for this card, but what kind of RAM is that? That is micron. The micron's what? On that 1080 Ti I had, it was 75 ohms, but that might mean nothing, you know? I think what I should probably do, take this coil, lift it. Actually, no, that's not what I'm going to do. I'm going to put it back in the. I'm going to put it back in the thing and try to measure some voltages and see what I get. And you guys aren't going to be able to see, but I'll try to. I'm going to measure this top coil to see if I'm getting. I'm going to measure these coils over here, see if I'm getting 1.85, all that kind of stuff. Maybe that's what these coils back here. Maybe those coils back there are 5. I'll get a ground. Put the power supply on. We'll measure this small coil here and see if we get any voltage. We get 1.8 there. Let's measure this coil here. This should be PEX, right? Or maybe it should be PEX. I'm not really sure. I'm getting 1 volt. That's PEX. So this coil over here should be 5 volts. That's 12 volts. Okay. My CPU getting warm at all? Can't tell. Oh, here, there's another coil down here. Let's see what this coil is. That is my 5 volts. Okay. That's 5 volts. Let's see what we're getting on the output of our inductors of our V core. We're getting 0.8 on V-core, so that's good. So let's move up here to this one. And this one is 1.5 volts. And drop down the volt. So that's RAM voltage. I'm confused, man. Let me look at this under the microscope, see if we can't see anything. All right, that coil I lifted up. I'm going to check resistance from ground to this pad of this coil. And we get 44K. But through this coil to ground, we get, I mean, that's a dead short, dude. So the short is on this side of the coil. And I'm fairly certain that's horrible news, because that means that the RAM controller that is a part of the CPU is faulty, which kind of sucks. But if that's the case, then why were we still getting we were getting voltage on this leg. We were still getting voltage. All right, so I've got the thermal cam set up. Okay, there's the CPU and you can see the RAM. So we are going to turn this thing on. I want you to watch the RAM. Every one of those RAM are shorted. Well, maybe all but two, I think. That one. Okay, maybe those two on the top weren't shorted. The thing that's weird to me is that I get voltage on the inductor coil, which is, I don't understand why I would get in. I mean, it's 0.1 ohm on that coil, but I'm getting, I mean, I touched them with my finger and they get burning hot. So let me cut it on one more time and see. That one's not shorted. That one's burning hot. That one's not shorted. So it looks like all the rest are shorted. That's what it looks like to me. I don't know. I'm going to ponder this for a little bit longer before I decide to remove all the RAM except these two. I don't get it. I don't know why would you get 1.35 volts here if all of the RAM were shorted. I fail to understand it, because at a minimum it would drop your voltage down to nothing. I don't know. I got to think about this. I think I'm going to remove I'm going to remove the RAM ICs that were getting hot. And it was these two that were not getting hot. All the rest of these were getting hot. And so if I remove those and the short goes away, then we can figure out what to do from there. All right, let's see if our resistance changed at all by removing those 4 RAM or those 6 RAM ICs. So it looked like it did. I think I should have just removed them all. I think these 2 are good. Might have to wait for this to cool down. Let's look at these under the microscope. They were bubbling. Some of them were bubbling as I was taking them off. They went down, but they were definitely bubbling. Like this one. Hard to see. Like there was one that had, like, I didn't hear bubble. Yeah, right here. Well, hard to see in the microscope. It's easier to see with the naked eye, but all the ones that were shorted that bubbled. It was found to be odd. Pull down a little bit more now. It's still low. That's the thing. I don't know if the resistance is supposed to go down or go up based upon if you remove RAM. You know what I'm saying? Like if I add additional RAM, I guess. If I add more RAM, will it add to the resistance? All right, this is probably a stupid idea, but I am going to, I'm going to power it on, man, with just those 2 RAM ICs to see what happens. Let me, we'll see if anything blows up, which I don't think. I'm assuming the only thing that'll happen is if those 2 RAM ICs were suspect, they'll end up shorting as well. I just don't want to short the CPU. You know what I'm saying? But it may already be shorted. I don't know. Let's cut it on and see what happens. Now the CPU. Yeah, I shorted the CPU. Or maybe the RAM's getting just normally hot. Let's real quick. Let's analyze this. So before, when I was measuring voltage on the coil, the RAM coil, the voltage would like hit 1.5 and then it would drop down to like 1.3 and it would kind of jump around because of the short. But now it's staying solid at 1.5. It's not dipping anymore. Now the CPU's coming on and those 2 RAM ICs are getting hot. But I don't think that they're getting, so either they're shorted and then it shorted the CPU, or it's just trying to come on with just less RAM. So let's switch over to console video output and let's see what happens on the screen. It switches over. The CPU is getting warm. It's not getting hot. The RAM is getting warm, but it's not getting super hot. Hard for me to tell. Yeah, I mean, I think it's fine. I think if I replaced that RAM, I think this car would work. Just where do you get that RAM? I got some PS5 Micron RAM, but fairly certain DDR6 isn't going to work on this. I don't know, man. I don't know. I think I will put this video out and then I will let y'all tell me what to do, or if I'm just wasting my time. But I think this is salvageable. I just need to find 6 RAM ICs. So Anyhow, let me know what you think.